In breaking news, former US President Jimmy Carter has died at the age of 100. His son Chip Carter confirmed the news earlier this morning. Mark Stone takes a look at the former president's life.
He was the peanut farmer from Georgia, an American president who lived a life longer than any other.
I, Jimmy Carter, do solemnly swear.
James Earl Carter Jr., Jimmy.
We must adjust to changing times and still hold to unchanging principles.
A man with a message that echoes still today. A man of deep faith, compassionate, honourable, a peacemaker, a healer. Unpretentious, unassuming, modest, frugal. Jimmy Carter's qualities were what 1970s America thought it needed after Nixon and Watergate and after a long war in Vietnam. But in one term, 4 years, he faced huge challenges, and the qualities which took him to the White House would pull him from it too. It was, he'd say, a presidency unfinished. Jimmy Carter's childhood shaped the person and the politician he would become. In 1930s Georgia, his mother had ignored the state's segregation laws, and so his upbringing was one of coexistence, an experience that unquestionably formed his mind and would allow him to help change history decades later.
The time for racial discrimination is over.
It was his blunt message to the white rulers in South Africa which precipitated the end of apartheid and a peaceful coexistence many years later.
Last night was almost unbelievable.
His influence in the Middle East was profound, but controversial too. The Camp David Accords represented his greatest achievement and a seismic moment for the region, bringing Israel and Egypt together. This was the framework on which he hoped coexistence in the Middle East would be built. But later, he would be among the first to accuse Israel of its own apartheid against the Palestinians. Bold, controversial, and the crux of a divide that has been exposed so deeply today. Under his leadership, the Cold War got hotter. A wary Carter ditched a key arms reduction treaty with the Soviet Union. It would, in time, beyond his time, bring about the collapse of the USSR. And in Iran, students held US diplomats hostage for over a year. A rescue went wrong. American aircraft down. Carter blamed.
I've wanted to serve as president because I love this country and because I love the people of this nation.
After just one term, he was out. America, struggling economically, chose the showman Reagan and an optimism they couldn't find in Carter. And history, it turns out, would credit Reagan with many successes that could be traced back to Carter.
She gets three tablets.
And it was really only after leaving office that he began to build his legacy. With his wife Rosalind, he founded the Carter Center, a charity with his principle of healing at its heart. In 2002, it earned him the Nobel Peace Prize. And away from the spotlight, he was a painter, a furniture maker, a winemaker, an author of 32 books, father to 4 and husband to 1, Rosalind. Always at his side, if not leading him, and so often hand in hand. She was his best friend, his counsel, his wife of nearly 80 years. They were to be separated only by her passing, aged 96. The magic of their lifelong bond: never go to bed angry, always make peace. It was, in life, his defining principle. Mark Stone, Sky News in Washington.